behind the scenes with future country rock blues kings and queens. Discover them first with Paul Mash TV. Paul Mash TV.
Well, hello there. It's time for another episode of Paul Mash TV, and I want to thank you for joining us. Got another great interview coming up for you in just a moment. But before we get into that, if you haven't already, click that subscribe button and the bell down there. Anytime a new episode comes your way, you'll be notified. And as always, leave a comment on the comment section, and we'd love to hear from you. And be sure to go to our Facebook page, facebook.com/Paul Mash TV. And you can inbox us there, and be sure to follow us as well and comment on everything you see there. And send us an email, paulmashtv, all one word, @gmail.com. And if you're a band or a solo artist, you can use that to talk about getting on a show, and we'll tell you what to do there. And also, if you're just simply a fan, we love fan mail, and we'll respond to you. And all that is going to be recapped at the closing credits at the end of the show, so stay tuned for that. From Cleveland, Tennessee, we have Gary Matheny today. Very talented artist, of course, and I think you're really going to like him, and we're going to get to that interview, which starts right now. All right, here we are with the interview, and with us today from Cleveland, Tennessee, we have Gary Matheny. Thanks for joining us, Gary.
Hey, Paul, thanks for having me on your show today.
Yeah, no problem. Glad to have you here. Why don't you tell everybody how it all began for you as an artist, because, you know, everybody has their own story. Let's hear your story.
Well, I started playing guitar at 12 years old. My best friend, Tommy Dean. I loved music when I was a kid. As a matter of fact, when I was very small, I would sit outside with an old guitar just banging on it, singing, "You ain't nothing but a hound dog," you know? And so when I became 12 years old, a teenager, we moved to another county, and I met this guy, Tommy Dean, and he and I became best friends. And he played a little rock band, and he played a little rhythm, a little lead guitar. And so I said, one day, I said, man, I'd like to learn how to play guitar. So he taught me the basic chords, C, F, G, D, A minor, things of that nature. And next thing you know, I'm playing guitar some, and we're in the basement singing and bellowing out all kind of 60s rock songs. And I get in a little rock band. Well, then I met this little gal that I married, and gigs wasn't paying enough money to, you know, to have continuous movies, gas, and hamburgers. So I had to go out and get a job, and I quit music. I continually tell her all the time, if it hadn't been for her, I could have been a rock star, you know. But when I retired and moved up here, I started back writing, and I'll tell you a quick little story of what got me really into it was I wrote a poem about the bad traffic in Atlanta. And I put it on Facebook just kind of as a funny thing to get a little attention. And a friend of mine I went to high school with, she says, hey, let's send that to so-and-so. And he's another guy we went to school with, but he's played rock, country bands, rock bands, Chicago, Nashville, and all over. So he put some music to it and made a little ballad called Ode to Atlanta Traffic. So I sent the thing off to a music contest, and Gerald Crabb, of all people, was one of the reviewers, and he sent back and said, hey, that's a cool song, but I think you need to change the name to Exit 10 because it talks about Exit 10. It's a good hook. So I did, and we revised it, and next thing you know, I've won 2 or 3 awards with it, and started writing again, and here I am. I've got a catalog of songs. I've got 2 albums to my credit so far. I've had 9 of my songs demoed by an Irish singer in Dublin, Ireland. One of my songs was demoed by a fabulous female singer over in Italy, and I'm just having fun.
Well, that's quite a story there, and like you said, you got quite a you know, a list of songs you've done, and they're really good. So I'm glad you're doing what you're doing there. And tell us about, I think you probably already mentioned it anyway, but what were the influences you grew up with that helped motivate you to be the artist you are today?
Well, mostly like all young kids back in the 60s, early 60s, it was the Beatles. I mean, you know, they come out and everybody wanted to be in a band when the Beatles came out. But I love Jim Croce. I love Jerry and the Pacemakers. I love the Young Rascals of late, you know, back in the 70s, 80s, Seals and Croft, James Taylor. You know, any of those guys there that just had some good mellow sound. I'm not so much into the rock anymore. I like the mellowy sounds of Daryl Hall. I don't know if you've listened to Daryl Hall since he and Oates are not playing together, but awesome sound Daryl Hall does, and so does Greg Allman. Back before he passed away, he left the brothers and started his own albums and doing solo, and he did fabulous. But that type music, country rock, Americana, some easy listening pop type sound.
Yeah, there's some great ones, like you mentioned, Jerry and the Pacemaker. You mentioned the Beatles. Obviously, they're all legends, and I can see where you got your sound. Why don't you tell us a little bit about how we can find you on social media, or for that matter, on any streaming sites that might be out there that they might want to download your music or whatever?
Well, I'm on Spotify, Apple, and all those type platforms. You can find me Gary Matheny Music, some videos I've done on YouTube. You can Google me. I was talking to another, I had an interview a couple of weeks ago, and they said, "How can we find you?" And I said, "Well, just Google Gary Matheny." He said, "I saw that. When you Google," he said, "everything comes up." But yeah, YouTube, Facebook. I love to stay on Facebook. That's my biggest way of promoting myself around the world, as you well know. You can mash a button with a message on it. It goes everywhere, just a matter of seconds. And I've got a lot of followers overseas that watch what I do. So you can just about Google me anywhere. You can find me.
Okay, well, go on those streaming sites you talked about, also on Facebook. Follow him there. I know he would love you for that. And the song we're getting ready to watch in just a moment here is called Juliet. I'm sure it's self-explanatory, but tell us a little bit about the song.
Well, Lee Jordan, a good friend of mine, the one that actually wrote the ballad to Ode to Atlanta Traffic originally, he and I get together occasionally. We play a little bit. We do some songs. And so he called me one day and said, "Hey, man, there's a town called Juliet in Georgia. I don't know if you've ever watched Fried Green Tomatoes, but that's the town of Juliet, Georgia. And they have a park there with falls in it and the rocks and all of that." He said, "I was at Juliet the other day, see the falls." He said, "I just thought about writing a song." So I did. And when I sent it to him, he says, "That really wasn't what I was going for." So I put it away. And a couple of years later, it was during the winter, I was upstairs in my office, the music room, playing around. I said, "We'll pull Juliet out." So I rewrote it to this. It talks about a young guy and a young girl who are little puppy lovers back in the days when they were small. They played outside, and then she packed up and left when she got older, and he's pining for her. And so it still uses Juliet, the town, but it's more about these two young kids who were in love as just babies, as children.
Oh, okay. Well, it is a great song, and I know everybody out there is getting ready to watch it, and you'll enjoy it too. But before we get into that, I think that's all we really need right now, Gary, and we thank you so much for being on the show. We would love to have you back a second time if you have anything to plug for us.
Paul, just let me know when. I love to talk about my music and get it out to anyone that wants to listen.
Okay. All right, let's not waste any more time. Here's Juliet, and it starts right now.
Seems like only yesterday we were playing in the falls, climbing rocks and catching everything that crawls, hanging out and wasting time, not a care at all. We held hands in the summer sun, puppy love and all. Puppy love and all. Not a day goes by I don't think of you. Everywhere I turn, there are signs of you. Doesn't matter whether rain or shine, life is not the same. You walked out of my life just as fast as you came. One feeling comes over me every time I look and see water coming up those falls, Juliet. Young hearts in harmony playing out our fantasies, wanting life to never come to an end. For you, Juliet. For my Juliet. There are songs written about walking in the rain, splashing in those puddles of mud. It still doesn't explain the tears I shed and the pain my heart feels. I pray to God that He will let my heart heal. One feeling comes over me every time I look and see the water coming up those falls, Juliet. Young hearts in harmony playing out our fantasies, wanting life to never come to an end. For you, Juliet. Life has changed forever, Juliet. I still love you, Juliet.